Hey guys, it's Dave on the Mustang Pilot YouTube channel. Just doing a quick update on Project 70. Haven't done a whole lot of work on the car the last few nights, but I was able to get a few things accomplished. You see we got the driver's side fender off here, which was a real challenge. A lot of the bolts were rusted and mounting brackets were rusted, and this is going to need all new hardware to go back together, but I got it off. And of course, taking a look back inside here, I mean, not too bad, you know, mostly just surface rust. I already know about the floor pan and the driver side frame rail here underneath of the floor. That section is going to have to get cut out and re-welded, but the torque box here actually looks like it's in pretty good shape. We got the passenger door off as well. That was a bit tricky. Did a little bit of cleaning in here with the dashboard. The top portion actually cleaned up pretty nice. The bottom, it's not too bad, but you know, I think I'm going to be happy with it for now. Maybe something down the road to replace up there, but it definitely looks a lot better than it did. And haven't really done anything else on the interior here. I did notice through this area here that there's a little bit of rust on this interior panel, so I'm gonna have to take these panels off and see what's going on back in there. But yeah, we got the hood off, and I got the cowl panel off, and there was a huge mouse nest that was in here. I got that pulled out. I'm really thinking that at some point I'm going to have to take this thing outside and pressure wash it. There's just so much dirt and grime that I'm going to need to clean off before I can really get a good look at it. I did a little more work on the back here. I got the rear valance off, and you know, a couple surprises that I wasn't expecting. I knew that this quarter panel over here on the passenger side wasn't in the best of shape, but it's actually rotted out back behind here. So at this point, I'm thinking that possibly this entire quarter panel is going to have to get replaced, maybe cut it somewhere up here. Back here, just looking a little closer at some of the areas, and it looks like the car might have at one point been in an accident where it was slightly rear-ended. Not enough to bend the frame, but you do see there's a little bit of a deformation to that transition pan right there. But the car was definitely repaired. We can see some areas where it looks like, you know, a new panel or something was welded in. And of course, wherever they welded the repairs, it rusted out pretty quickly. So they didn't, you know, they didn't coat those. The outer fender wells have some rust in the corners there. The rest of the fender wells, you know, they look okay. So I don't know if it's worth replacing the entire fender well. That, you know, I have to figure out what I'm going to do there. Maybe just try and patch in some metal or something. I'd hate to have to take this entire quarter panel off. The driver's side is actually in pretty good shape. So, you know, to have to cut that off just to replace the inner fender well, you know, might not be worth the effort. If I can just get it cleaned up, and if there's some areas, you know, maybe I can just cut little pieces of patch metal or something, you know, and just spot weld them in there. But yeah, a few surprises. Oh, and this is the original dash panel. So I believe this went above the glove box. Yes, so this panel, I don't know how it was oriented. I think it was oriented like this, maybe. But this went above the glove box, and I gave this thing a real nice cleaning, and I'll tell you what, that looks really good. So that gave me some hope for the rest of the dash panel. So I think if I keep working on it, I'll be able to bring it back to life. I didn't coat this with anything. I just scrubbed it up and cleaned it real well. But I think if you put an interior coating on here just to bring back some of the shine, this is going to look really nice. So hopefully I can do the same thing to these panels in the rear, and that'll certainly save some money there. But that's pretty much it. I mean, not much progress on the car. She keeps giving me a few surprises here and there, but you know, you have to expect it. It's a 53-year-old car, so it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be things that we're going to have to work on, and of course, the biggest challenge is just trying to decide, you know, how intense is this build going to be? You know, how far do I want to go with it? Obviously, cost is a huge factor there. So, but, you know, at this point here, just tearing things down. And I did order some epoxy primer, enough to pretty much prime the entire car. As I start working on some panels little by little, I do want to start getting some of this rust out of the car as soon as possible so that it doesn't continue to rust. And of course, once I get this down to bare metal, I need to get this coated in an epoxy primer right away. So I'll start working on some sections here. I think I'm going to do that before we do any of the major repairs on the car. And then once everything is coated with the primer, I'm going to come back and then start addressing the repair sections on the body and, of course, the chassis at some point. I'm going to have to get this thing up in the air and get all this chassis area up front cut out and weld in some new sections. But I'm thinking, you know, that's probably going to be a little bit down the road. Just kind of want to take care of the rust right now where I can, and come back, work on this interior a little bit more, get this thing cleaned up. And once I have the primer on hand, I can actually start sanding and stripping whatever coating is on the interior here, and at least get some primer on the areas where the floor pan is in good shape and we're not going to have to do any repairs in there. So anyway, but that's the update. She's coming along slowly, but hey man, we'll get there. Thanks for tuning in.